All right, let's talk about something that starts with that tiny little chip inside your phone and ends in a multi-billion-dollar global market that's sparking a massive showdown between tech giants and entire governments. This is the story of the eSIM revolution, and trust me, it affects every single one of us.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the tech itself, how we got from SIMs to software. Then we'll look at the absolutely explosive market it's created. We'll meet the powerful companies that basically run the show, dig into the new rules trying to rein them in, and finish up with the big central question, where's the line between regulation and innovation?
So first things first, let's get into the technology, because we're talking about a really fundamental shift here. Moving away from a piece of plastic you can hold in your hand to a piece of code. And that change? It changes everything. Yeah, we all know this little guy, right? The classic SIM card. For decades, this has been the physical key to your phone connecting to a network. It holds your identity, you can pop it in and out, super simple. But, it also has some pretty big limitations.
And this is where the real magic happens. The big innovation is moving from that physical card to an eSIM, an embedded SIM. It's digital. So instead of needing to physically swap out a little piece of plastic to change carriers, an eSIM lets you just download a new carrier profile right over the air. It basically turns your network connection into an app you can manage on your phone.
This visual lays out the whole journey perfectly. We started with the removable SIM card. Then we got the eSIM, which is a tiny chip that's actually soldered right onto the phone's circuit board. And the next step, the future, is the iSIM, the integrated SIM, which is built directly into the device's main processor. We're talking even smaller, more secure, and way more efficient.
So when you have a tech shift this big, from physical to digital, you know what comes next, right? Money. A lot of it. Let's look at how this one little change is creating a market that is just absolutely exploding.
Get this. As of right now, in 2024, the global market for eSIM technology is already worth over $10.5 billion. That's a huge number, but honestly, that's just the start of the story. Because by 2030, that's just 6 years from now, that number is projected to more than double, hitting almost $22 billion. This isn't just steady growth, folks. This thing is a rocket ship, growing at a rate of nearly 13% every single year.
So who's leading the charge? Well, right now, it's North America, holding a massive 42.8% of the market. And that makes sense, right? You've got a super advanced telecom system, tons of smartphones, and all the major carriers pushing this technology forward.
And let's be clear, this incredible growth isn't just about making our phones a little thinner. It's being fueled by the Internet of Things. Think about connected cars, smart home devices, industrial sensors. They all need this kind of flexible, remote connectivity. And of course, when giants like Apple and Samsung put eSIMs in all their new phones, the whole market just takes off.
So whenever you see this kind of explosive growth, it naturally brings up a really critical question about power. If the SIM card is no longer a physical thing, but just a piece of software embedded in your phone, well then, whoever controls the phone's software now controls your connection to the world.
And that leads us straight to the biggest players on the field. We're talking about the companies that don't just exist in the digital economy, they pretty much are the digital economy. They're the gatekeepers, they control the hardware and the software where technologies like eSIM live, and that gives them an unbelievable amount of influence.
A couple of years ago, the European Union actually decided to put a name on it. They officially designated these 7 corporations as gatekeepers under their new rules. You've got 5 American companies, 1 from China, and 1 from the Netherlands. Now, the EU has a very specific checklist for this. A gatekeeper isn't just any big company. It's a platform with massive revenue and a huge user base in Europe, which gives it what regulators call an entrenched and durable position. Basically, they're so dominant that it's nearly impossible for any new competitors to even try to challenge them.
So, faced with the enormous power of these digital gatekeepers, regulators in Europe basically decided that the old way of doing things just wasn't cutting it anymore. It was time to write a brand new rule book. And that's where the Digital Markets Act, or DMA, comes in. This is a huge piece of legislation, and it's built on a pretty radical idea. Instead of waiting for a company to break the law and then suing them, which can take forever, the DMA sets the rules of the game up front. It's proactive. It tries to stop problems before they can even start. And the rulebook is crystal clear. On one side, you've got the do's, things gatekeepers have to do, like allowing other services to work with their platforms. On the other side, you've got the don'ts, No more ranking your own products higher in search results. No more blocking developers from telling you about cheaper deals outside their app store. The whole point is to stop them from locking you into their ecosystem.
And believe me, the DMA has some serious teeth. If a gatekeeper doesn't play by these new rules, the fines are just staggering. We're talking up to 20% of their total worldwide annual turnover. For a company like Apple or Google, that could mean a fine in the tens of billions of dollars.
So, as you can probably imagine, this aggressive new approach has created a massive clash. It pits some of the world's most powerful regulators against the world's most powerful tech companies. It's a central conflict over the entire future of our digital world.
From the EU's perspective, this is all about fairness. As Commissioner Thierry Breton put it, they were tired of playing catch-up with slow, ineffective lawsuits. It was time to set the rules from the start to create a more competitive market for everyone.
But the tech giants, they see it completely differently. Apple, for example, argues that the DMA is forcing them to break the very things their customers love. That seamless integration, the privacy, the security. They're saying these new rules are actually creating new risks for users.
So you have these two totally different perspectives. On one side, the DMA's goals are all about promoting competition and choice. But the companies say that, in reality, it's leading to new features being delayed in Europe, it's creating security holes, and it's forcing platforms like iOS to become more like their competitors, which they argue actually reduces real choice in the market. And here's a perfect real-world example. Apple says a new feature like iPhone mirroring, which lets you control your iPhone from your Mac, has been put on hold from millions of European users. Why? Because they claim the DMA's rules would force them to open it up in a way that puts all of a user's data at risk, and they haven't figured out a secure way to do it yet.
And all of this entire journey, from a tiny chip to a global regulatory battle, it leaves us with this one huge unresolved question. Is this kind of sweeping, top-down regulation the key to a fair digital future? Or, in trying to control the giants, does it accidentally end up crushing the very innovation and great user experiences it was meant to protect? The answer to that is going to shape our digital world for years to come.